Welcome to the 111 Approach podcast, your go-to space for deep thoughts, real talk, and exploration of everything from spirituality to self-development and the mysteries of life with some light-hearted humour along the way. I'm your host, Lakshmi, aka the 1 Minute Healer, and each episode will dive into different topics, sometimes personal, sometimes thought-provoking, but always authentic. So whether you're here for some new perspectives, inspiration, or just a fresh take on the world with a bit of randomness thrown into the mix, you're definitely in the right place. So what are you waiting for? Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 111 Approach podcast with me, Lakshmi, the 1 Minute Healer. And as always, I start and end every single episode I do with gratitude because it is the most powerful frequency. So why not start and end on a gratitude sandwich? This is what I do. So I want to say thank you so much for being here and listening and being in this space with me. Today I have a little bit different to some kind of guests I've had before, because this person that I've got on, now please don't pass any judgments on this, just stay open, and they've got some really great insights, but I just wanted to bring somebody on here that has had a bit of a different background, and I like to sort of vary up my guests as you know, and open the floor to anyone from any background. So this person that I have, very blessed to actually be here in the flesh sitting next to me, is someone who spent 15 years essentially dealing drugs to the world. So I've got a retired drug dealer, and I know they don't mind me saying that because we're going to touch on that in a bit, because we talk about all the issues and all the experiences here on the 111 Approach. No topic is off limits here. So yes, a retired big-time drug dealer who has now taken to the streets to help children and young adults take charge of their lives. Like, wow, it's so inspirational what this person has done and what they continue to do. And before I introduce this person's heart, forget heart actually, this person's whole aura, whole being, whole very essence. It's very rare to find people like my esteemed guest here. And I have to be honest, I'm very blessed to have someone like them, not only as a guest on the podcast, but also as a very good friend now, even though the time I've known you hasn't been very long, but we're going to touch on this in this episode, that it's all about quality versus quantity. And I think the friendship that we have now, I'm so grateful for it. You are pretty much always on my gratitude list. I am genuinely so honored to be able to introduce the retired drug dealer who now is reformed, helps children and young adults transform their lives, and the beautiful person who is inside and out, amazing human. I don't even think you're human because you're like superhuman. It is the wonderful Moira Parry, everybody. Woo! That was like the longest intro, but we'll probably have to edit a few bit of that out. But Moira,
drug lord,
drug dealer said. But if you want, I forgot to add to that list. She's a self-proclaimed goddess. Reason being, when I said to her, Moira, how would you like me to introduce you? She was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, she's a god. Love that self. But it's true. God is within all of us. You know, we are God and God is us. So yes, sorry, we jest, but I did want to do a little bit of a different intro just so that we could give the people a little bit of suspense. But yes, please tell us how you are drug dealer.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Lakshmi. And my goodness, I have never had an introduction like that before at all.
I don't think you ever will as well.
Absolutely superb. So a brief background, I actually worked for a pharmaceutical company.
Drugs. They're the biggest drug dealers of them all. Forget these people in their gangs in London and Birmingham and all over the world. It's the big pharma. No, this is not anti-big pharma. Like, that's not what this episode's about, but please.
I actually wasn't doing the dealing. I was more doing things like quality and compliance, health and safety, facilities management. And then my life took a turn And I actually met somebody that got me on this path relating to young people. And it's about going into schools and helping young people understand and advise them the different career paths there are, opportunities that are out there. And not all of us know from a very early age what we are going to be doing in our lives. I mean, I know from personal experience, I was always told that I would amount to nothing at school. And I remember my careers teacher, just as a side note, so I've had epilepsy for a very long time in my life. Touch wood, not had anything for over 22 years now. And the careers teacher said her first words were, "Well, you can't fly a plane." What? And to be honest, and forgive me, I thought, no shit, Sherlock, wasn't even on the agenda, wasn't really thinking about, flying the latest jumbo, but that crushed me because I just thought I'm obviously not worth much at all. And I think because of certain experiences along the way with people in other work environments where I was told, well, you're not going to amount to much because you're different. And I remember that occasion, that was actually in a building society that I worked for. And I remember crying the whole weekend thinking, well, I'm obviously nothing and I'm not worth anything. And so when we are talking with young people, words, whether it be from teachers, from employers, from family, friends, words that are said can be so damaging at the same time. So when this opportunity came along that I could go into schools and I could talk to young people, they got the story of, well, I left school on the Friday, I started work on the Monday, and I've used my mouth and my common sense to get me through life. And I must admit, I did think that the teachers would not be very happy with me because I did actually say on one occasion, I wasn't the greatest person that was academic, but I still got through and I'm here today and I'm so proud of what I do. So it is possible. It's just, unfortunately, not only is it about believing within ourselves, it's about those you surround yourself with as well.
100% agree. And I'm glad you've said that because that's where we kind of wanted to take the topic of this episode. You have to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and support you. But I say that as if it's like a given, but so many of us don't have that. And when we think we have that and it serves us for that time, then you kind of grow and expand, or you change, or you go off on a different path. Then those people that were your support network sometimes don't go on that same path with you, and it's very difficult then to almost let them go and think, okay, right now I've got to find some new people to surround myself with. And I'm talking this from a personal experience very recently as well, and what I'm still kind of transitioning to. I just wanted to backtrack a little bit and say, I think so many people will be hopefully writing in the comments and sharing this episode at some point, because what you just said there, it's not the first time I've heard that someone's told you at school, you'll never do anything. Or, you can write that one off your list. Yeah. And it's soul crushing because you're saying this to a child. Like, it hurts when someone tells you as an adult, right?
Yeah.
But as an adult, you can be just like, fuck off. But maybe you can't, because sometimes those things as words.
Yes.
There's that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. I call bullshit on that because it takes a very strong-minded person to not let those words affect you. Even for a second, you've got to do a lot of self-work to not let words affect you. Yes. Because the words have frequency.
And I think when particularly you're an empath like we are, oh my lordy, talk about you literally take it all on board and it sits there with you. And I can still revisit some of those words that were said, but now when they're being revisited, forgive me, but I stick two fingers up to it and I think, absolutely no way. And
to have to swear on this podcast.
And to the teacher that said I would never fly a plane, you're wrong because I did.
And she's not talking about the drugs.
I thought we were going to keep that one quiet.
That's for the After Hours podcast, which actually some people have said I should do, like an After Hours where we talk about really taboo subjects and just get raw and real. So that might be coming to your ears not very soon, actually. It's not going to be soon at all. What am I talking about? It'll be maybe if we were going to do it later. Anyway, amazing. Please elaborate. When did you fly the plane? And how did it feel when you did that? And
I was shit scared. So actually, I was very privileged coming back from. It was my honeymoon, because we only got married in 2021, and we didn't have our honeymoon until 2022 because of COVID restrictions, and we went to Jamaica. On the way back to the airport, instead of being driven there, which I have to say, if you've ever been driven there, gee whiz, you literally close your eyes and start praying.
Wait till you get to India, love.
So we decided to fly to the airport on a small plane, and we get onto this plane and I jump in the front. My husband went in the back, and obviously the pilot's next to me, and he said, just to let you know, this is the first time I've flown. I went, seriously, mate? I said, let's not start making jokes like that. I thought, because I'm getting a bit twitchy already at this point, because there's very small planes.
God, yeah.
So we're up in the air and we're going along. And he said, take control. So I was going, really? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? So I took control, and then he told me to do something. I think it was like pull back, and the plane started to like go. And I was like, oh my God, I was going, please, stop. I was like literally shaking. When we touched the ground, he thought it was funny. Robin thought it was funny too. But I remember getting out of the plane. I actually wanted to kiss the floor.
All right, Katy Perry, calm down.
I did, because I thought, oh my gosh. But at the same time, I recall just thinking, somebody told me once I would never fly a plane, and now I have.
And how was that? I mean, I'm feeling it for you. Sometimes I wish we did have video, because I'm just like, yes, I'm beaming. Because how was that? Try and describe it, because I'm sure people will understand when they're listening, but just, it must have felt like, I know, one of those hands when you remember did you ever watch wrestling?
Yeah.
WWF and all.
Yes.
Foam finger.
Oh yeah.
Imagine the middle finger one, and you're just doing that to the teacher, like, yes.
Oh God.
On both hands. 2 hands up with a finger.
Yeah, I mean 100%, and I think, and I think that's the whole thing, isn't it? Is because it's about rising above the damage that somebody else has caused. And I know there are so many different sets of circumstances out there, how you may have been spoken to in one way or another, and we all have to deal with our own different journeys. But I know for me personally, with that particular one, I just thought, no, absolutely, you've got this so wrong, and you've got me wrong. And I thought, you almost feel, come and see me face to face now, because I'm not that person that you thought I was going to turn out to be, and I'm proud of who I am today.
I love that. And when you said that, it reminded me, like, sometimes the things that break us down, if you can alchemize that and use that as fuel for, and then it's not just putting out, it's not the best way, it's not the highest vibration way to motivate yourself, but sometimes who gives a fuck? You don't always have to be like happy rainbows all the time. Sometimes it's the real shit stuff that keeps you motivated, and be like, right, I'm going to actually show you. Yes. And if that's the fuel that you need, then use it, because actually what you're doing is you're taking that very negative emotion, that very negative feeling, and you're transmuting it into power. And you've taken control of that situation. And yes, you're using it to prove someone wrong. So maybe, yes, you're leading from ego, but this is, I'm putting it out there, this is in certain cases where the ego-led stuff is actually really good for you, because everything's in duality. Your ego is not the worst enemy ever. You can use it to fuel and push you and get you to the stage where you're just like, I showed them. I fucking showed them. And I feel good about it. Not because in a negative way. Well, it is a little bit negative way, but who cares, man? They were negative to you. And now you use that negativity in the most positive way.
Yes.
To get your self-achievement and make you prove your haters wrong.
Yeah. I think one of the things for me that I have learned, because let's face it, we all deal with a lot of shit in our lives. And one of the things that I have learnt, I would say more in my latter years, we won't give age groups away.
Age is nothing but a number, as Leah said.
And I've learned that when, you know, the crap is hitting the fan and so forth, now, when it's head on and in front of me, I turn it around into a positive. I always sit there and think to myself, right, how am I going to turn this shit show into something positive? And what are we going to get out of this?
Yeah, I love that. I was going to say, just as you said it, it just came to me. How are we going to turn this shit show into a shine show?
Ah, love it.
Patented that right now. Here you go. You heard it here first.
That.
I know. I just came to me. I was just like, we're turning this shit show into a shine show.
I love that.
I know. I think I'm going to have to get it done on a T-shirt and maybe copyright it.
Merch.
Yeah.
111 approach.
Merch. Come into a store near you. Not very soon because I'm fucking lazy. Give me about. It took me about a year and a half to get this podcast out, so now I don't know when the merch is coming out, but we're putting it out there. If anyone can help me, and if anyone can help me patent that. I'm going to have to look it up now because I thought I came up with selfist because it channeled like when I was in a thing and I was like, oh, instead of selfish, it's selfish. And I looked up, I was like, oh my God, I created a new word. And I looked up, I was like, no, you didn't create it. But it's fine because it just came to me when I came to me. So we maybe have made up that phrase. Maybe we haven't, but it's okay. It was needed for this time. But I love that. But yeah, I just think that is a superpower. And so I wasn't wrong when I said you're not just human, you are a superhuman because not everyone can do that. And I've met very few people in my life who are able to do that. You are one of them. My mom is one of them. And I'm so in awe to have people like you in my life. And because it's very rare, I realize this is very rare, but I'm so blessed that I have, I could say even more than 5 in my life. It's coming to me now. I'm just like, I should never feel upset. I should never feel alone and upset because most people would love to have someone like you in their life. And I have you plus my mom plus some of my clients. I have so many people around me and it's such a blessing. It's so awesome. I mean, we're definitely going to have you back on again, Moira, because we've got so much to talk about because a little bit of a side story of how I came to be in this beautiful woman's world. Firstly, fully believe that we're soul family and our souls finally found each other. But it was through networking. Shout out to BNI. And I remember we got introduced.
Yes.
By Jay. And
thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. They say like attracts like, you know. So this is why your soul family, your soul group, your vibe tribe comes together. And this is funny because I was literally talking to some of my clients about it because I don't feel right calling them clients because I really feel the connection there. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of, and again, putting it out there to the listeners, if you could help me come up with a word, which is not just a client, but is more than a client, because it's like a soul aligned something. It's such a beautiful thing. We've always met at networking events. So we've got our professional face on, we're talking about our businesses, and we both help people. Mm-hmm. And I feel that's where we really kind of connected as well. And then I heard your story about your daughter, and this is why you're so passionate about it as well. It was so beautiful. But I've only ever saw that kind of work side. And then we met up and we went to shout out to one of the best Italian restaurants. Maurizio's. And we just started chatting about life, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, wow, we've got so much in common. And I just didn't know this side of you about like relationships and just all these things. And I was just like, what? This is so cool. And we've known each other for what, about a year and a half now, coming up to 2 years, I think.
Yeah, if that.
If that,
If that, but it feels like forever.
I know. This is what I'm saying.
I can't imagine you not in my life.
This is what I'm saying. And I think this is where I wanted to take this conversation today, because I think as humans and as society, we get so hell-bent on time. I've been with this person for 20 years, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Was it 20 years of actual nice relationship? Because I hear that a lot with married couples and stuff. Oh, we've been together for 30 years. And the first thing is like, oh my God, that's so nice. But yes, it is. But sometimes that relationship is not the nicest relationship, and they're just purely there because either they've got kids, they're in a toxic relationship, they can't get out. Because I hear about this a lot from not even just clients, from people that I know. So it's made me really take a step back and really think how we perceive time and what it means, because quantity is not always quality.
No.
And given what's been happening in my life recently, because I'm really trying to have more authentic, genuine relationships in my life, or rather than just because you've known them for X amount of times or they're family members, you have to keep a connection with them. Because if that connection and that relationship is not serving you, if it's doing more damage to you, or if it's causing you more conflict than peace, then is it really worth it?
Absolutely not. I know from personal experience myself, I actually have fully put a hand up and pushed a member of my family right away. It's a very, very complicated story, and I won't bore you with it, but I didn't know that this member of family existed until 2021, and I met them and it was all okay initially, but then all of the guilt that it was like I had been the chosen one by my mum and all of this kind of stuff, and it was like, you have no idea what I went through with my mum. And God love her, I still love her to pieces, my mum, but she really struggled in life, my mum, big time. And the only time she was at peace was when she passed away. And for me, when I have somebody saying to me, you were the chosen one, this, that and the other, and please, listeners, don't get me wrong, I know there are a lot of adopted people out there. My husband is adopted as well, and I understand the complexity of all of these relationships, and I'm not just pushing it aside, but when you end up being the target because they've obviously struggled, then I had to protect myself, because I could literally feel myself drowning in it, and I felt bad because obviously that was my mum, if you get my drift, and I felt bad because it was like, I'm really sorry, mum, but I literally can't do this. Not that she was around for me to say it, but I was almost like speaking out to her, going, mum, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this shit anymore. I can't. I have to put me first. So I think there are times, and it's such a hard decision, particularly when it is family, where you put up that firm hand and it's back off, please. And it was the best thing that I did, because I look after me now on that front.
That's amazing. And you know what? Well done, because again, so many people are in similar situations, but they don't feel that they have the ability or the strength or the courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage.
There's the whole element of, because you're tangled between that's blood, and you're tangled between but I'm being damaged, and you're also tangled between what is right and what is wrong, and if I do this, what are other people going to say about it? There's just so many things, and I think, please, I'm not an expert. I am just an individual who has experienced life. And I just feel the person you need to put first in any situation is you. You are the most valuable, important person in this world. Without you looking after you, you can't look after everybody else. And I know that's an old cliche and we've all heard it so many times, but believe you me, the more you start doing that, the better you're going to feel.
It's spoken like a true expert. But I was going to say that. What makes an expert as well? You know, you say, oh, well, I'm no expert. But what actually makes an expert? A few letters after their name or a certificate? No, we are all experts in our own life experiences. So, you know, you are an expert and you've just said it so beautifully. You have to look after yourself. I feel there's also a lot of pressure when it comes to relationships and especially family, where it's like, you know, that every person that comes into your life, every relationship, every situation, it is a mirror and it's something that's supposed to teach you something, challenge you and all that stuff. But there's also a point where you have to just say, I'm not ready for this lesson right now. It is causing me way too much pain, way too much distress. I just need to park it. And that's also okay. So this is your sign if you are struggling with some relationships. And I have heard it myself as well. It's like, oh, but it's just a reflection of what you need to heal and all of that stuff. And yes, it is. But you don't need to heal every single wound all at the same time.
No.
You have to pick and choose what are you ready to deal with right now. And it's okay for you to be like, I cannot deal with this relationship or this person right now. I'm parking it. I will happily let that person go, knowing full well that whatever lesson I need to learn from that relationship, it will show up again. And maybe I'll be in a better place to learn that lesson. So that's something I'm learning as well. Yeah, with family members, there's a lot of like guilt because you always hang on to the past, you know, but it's okay because everyone's journey is different. And me personally going through what I'm going through with my very close friends, it's been really difficult because, again, I kept hearing, oh, we've been friends for 25 years. Yes, we have. But the thing is, when those people just don't seem to, want to communicate with you, and I'm very open with my communication, I've learned to really be unapologetically honest with how I feel. How I've navigated that in certain situations hasn't been the greatest. I'm putting my hand up there. And I've maybe let emotions get the better of me. But again, I'm still human and I will make mistakes. But I'm trying to learn from them and get better at the communication side of things. And I think when you start doing the work on yourself and you start becoming aware of how you speak, the words that you use.
Yes.
And learning to be okay with showing vulnerability and emotions and saying, actually, I'm not okay.
Yes.
I'm feeling a bit shit.
Yes, absolutely.
The way that then gets received by people who maybe are not on that same, I don't like saying levels because then people say, oh, you're higher than me because you're doing better work. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about maybe not on the same level of awareness.
Well, it's different experience.
Yeah,
it's different. I think different experience is probably a nicer way of putting it, because I think, you know, we're all going to have gone through so many different experiences at different levels. Some of us may still have childhood friends in our friendship group, but then some of us may not. But that's okay. That's absolutely fine, because as we are growing and we're developing and we're maturing and our paths change, we're not all going to connect in the same way. What I have found over the years, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this as well, is that sometimes you will get somebody that comes into your life, but they're only there for a certain period of time and then they go. But they're there for a reason. And I know it sounds really, really corny, but I know personal experience again. When I was about 18, I caught a very, very rare disease, and somebody who I had dated in high school then came back on the scene and stood by me throughout all of the very, very difficult times, because I did have to have open thoracic surgery, and my left lung collapsed, and then I caught pneumonia, and then I nearly popped my clogs. It was a tough time, and I always remember being in ICU, and I said to my dad, because I had to write it down on a sheet because I couldn't talk because I had tubes down me. And I said, can you please make sure that he doesn't come in? Because I didn't want him to see me like that. And I always remember he came in, even though I'd asked him not, he still came in. God bless him. His face was absolutely snow white when he saw me. But he stood by me through thick and thin. We then even got engaged later on. We started talking about getting married. So I was about 21 at the time. And then there was a point in the relationship where I thought, no, this is not right. But I felt indebted to what he had done for me. So I didn't say anything. And then when, no surprise, he broke it off because, let's face it, he wanted to go and sow his oats elsewhere. And it took me 10 years to get over. I mean, how crazy is that? 10 years to get over it, even though...
You already knew that...
Even though I knew. I mean, that's stupid, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. And I'm so thankful that he was in my life at that time because he kept me going. So I think sometimes we have people that come in and out of our lives. Our relationships either, go separate ways or they remain moulded. I think what I have found certainly more of late is when you find your tribe, you will know. And it's so, so true. When you have amazing people around you who are there to support you, to get the pom-poms out, cheerleading, be there with a box of tissues when it's a bit crap, that's when you know you've found the right people. Life changes. And who knows who we'll meet tomorrow.
Exactly. And I love that. Firstly, funnily, you said that about the pom-poms. I used to be a cheerleader, so I do actually have my pom-poms and my cheerleader outfit. And you've got box of tissue here. And I was just like, when she said, I was like, tick, tick. But yeah, there's that poem by Brian A. Chalker. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. The thing is, it's important to know that for a lot of people, your vibe tribe will change as your vibe changes, because very few of us have our friends from when we were in primary school, from secondary school, and then university, and work, because you're changing all the time. And yes, it's really nice to have that nostalgia. Oh, we've been friends since we were this high. Brilliant. That's amazing. But you shouldn't feel pressured to continue on that relationship if it doesn't serve you anymore, just because you've known them for that many years. It's really important to serve yourself, like you said. I've been feeling it quite a lot because this year obviously turned 40, as did a number of my girlfriends that I've known for 25 years. But we were supposed to go on this holiday together, and then just things have happened in the lead up to it. And I, again, have been trying to be more honest and open with how I feel about things. And I'm not going to go into the story or anything, but things were said. I felt like I was getting sort of ignored a bit, and I've always kind of felt like that anyway, because I've always been a little bit of an outsider from pretty much every friendship group I've ever had. When I reflected back on it, I was like, oh my goodness, I was either always part of a 3 or a 5. I was always an odd group number, and I was always the one on the outside when people would have to pair up in schools and buddy up and you'd sit next to each other because we'd only have 2 seats, right? And I was just like, wow, that was like a penny drop moment. And even now, there's a group of 5 of us, and I've always felt a little bit outside because I've not always ticked all the boxes. But those girls served me. They were my tribe, ride or dies, for so long, up until those very recent moments. And it's like, wow, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just how things have happened. And I've actually chosen, even though I've paid for the flight for the holiday, something happened when we were trying to book the hotel, and something was said, and it was singled out to me. There was no doubt about it. I did ask, I was like, what did you mean by that comment? Because I always ask, even though it hurt me, I want to just understand, because maybe I've miscommunicated or misunderstood the situation, which is 99% of the time what happens. It was never meant like that. It came out wrong. Somebody's going through something and they've just kind of blurted it out in a chat or whatever. I did my utmost best, I feel, on multiple times to try and get an answer of, what did you mean by that? I'm still hurt by that. Can we sort it out, please? And I was met with not enough information for me to be able to understand, move on, and let that go. And it, in a nutshell, I'm not going to be going on this holiday now, which it really hurts me. And I've been trying to let it go in the nicest way. But it does sting a little bit still. But then I just have to remember that it's sad when it happens and you will feel it. But what you're feeling is that nostalgic pull.
Yes.
To stay friends with these people who make me feel a certain way. And even my sister said, because you're going to spend all this money to go on this holiday, but every time you've spent more than 4 hours with these people, you come away feeling shit about yourself. And I'm like, yeah, that nothing they're saying. It's all me. I'm not pointing any fingers to them. I know it's my stuff that I have to work through because they're triggering something in me or they're showing me something that I haven't healed yet. But again, right now, I don't have a space to do that. I need to surround myself with people like yourself and my new friends. I put in inverted commas people, because although they're new in arbitrary terms, oh, I've only known you for a year and a half, you're not new because my soul has known these people for eons. You know, when a friend of mine flew out from the Netherlands to my 40th birthday party for essentially one night, whereas one of my oldest friends, one of these people from this group, lives in Birmingham, was a person who said the comment to me that made me feel like absolute shit. And I've been trying to sort it out with her 2 days before my birthday party. She's like, I feel awkward, I'm not coming. Okay, it really hurt. I was thinking, genuinely thought we would have sorted it out before then. Leading up to now, I'm not going on this girls' trip. I mean, I guess this is a bit of a long-winded way of saying to people, don't feel guilty. I shouldn't say that, actually. You will. You'll feel bad. You'll feel guilty. You feel sad. Try not to stay in it too long, because know that whenever things get taken away from you, they will always get filled. It's like the law of the universe, right? That's why decluttering is so great, because you declutter all the crap that you don't want, and then the universe will fill that void, or God will fill that void, or whatever you want to say. You being a person who buys a lot of stuff will clear out a drawer, and then it will get filled again. There's never going to be an empty drawer in your house, right?
In addition to that, there will come a point that it helps you heal better. So when you think about the nostalgia, about the years that you have been in whatever the relationship may have been, and the ties are finally being cut. So whilst it's painful and whilst it hurts and whilst there's some still not really quite understanding why, what about then turning it around and thinking, God, do I remember that time when we went to X and we had such a smashing night and we laughed all night? So instead of just focusing on the pain, focusing on those beautiful memories, which is what we tend to do, like when we lose someone very close to us in our family, focusing on those beautiful moments, because that's what gets us through day by day. And I think when we're able to get into that, you will be in such a better position to transition and move on.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to be totally honest.
No, go on.
Though, because I'm genuinely wanting some help with this, because when I do that, when I think about those times when we went to Cyprus and it was so much, we had laughed endlessly, and even with the family members, when I went back and relived all those happy memories, it just made me feel even worse. I'm like, am I doing the right thing of like taking a step back now?
So, like I'm saying, it's not going to happen overnight. It's like the same as you and I both unfortunately know. When we lose, like you've unfortunately lost your dear dad, I've lost both my mum and my dad. And there are times when you can get quite heavy days. You know, it doesn't matter how long they've been passed or not. It's irrelevant. There are times sometimes where it can hit you like a ton of bricks. Have a damn good cry. Definitely. Don't store it up.
Yeah.
Don't be worried about those around you. Fuck them. Excuse me?
I got more to say fuck on the podcast. I'm listening to how you've articulated your way in certain expressions, and I'm like, this is not what we were talking about when we were having coffee. Yes, I finally got it.
So going back to, it's like when we have grief, when we are going through grief, and as we all know, grief doesn't appear and go overnight. It does not. So anybody that says to you, time's a healer, crap, it's not. It just changes the type of grief you have. That's the only kind of difference to it. And we're all very different how we manage. But anyway, what I'm alluding to is that there are times when we can have very dark days with those emotions. I'm not going through what you're going through with the relationship you have with your friends, but you're grieving as well. You are going through a different grieving process.
That's actually so true. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about that.
And it's not going to change overnight. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning and think, yeah, it's all sorted. It's not, because you've had such a long, deep, meaningful relationship as sisters almost. Yeah. And now it's like we're parting the waves. How do I deal with that?
That's so true. And I think that's so important to remember that when we talk about grief, it's not just because someone's died and ascended to the different realms. You know, you grieve a relationship, a broken relationship, broken friendships, and you can even grieve the loss of a job and stuff like it. It's losing something, right? In whatever shape, form of that is. It doesn't always have to be about death. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. We are going to wrap up this episode, but fear not, we're going to definitely have Moira come back on another episode. So as always, I'm going to do the 1 minute meditation. And if it is safe for you to do so, please close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, holding for a few seconds, and then breathing out through your mouth. Today, I just want you to connect with yourself in whichever way, shape or form you'd like to do that. Some of us like to put a hand over our heart just to physically connect to our heart space. And we're just going to take 1 minute to really feel your energy. Concentrate on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out, bringing all of your focus and your energy back into your body, back into the here and now. We've covered a lot of topics today on this episode, but we're just bringing everything back to yourself, the most important person on this planet, which is you. So calling back all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your energy, and just remembering that you matter, you are loved, and you are just an amazing person, energy, soul. So take a nice deep breath in through your nose, hold that for as long as you can, and then when you're ready, just breathe out through your mouth and open your eyes. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being here and supporting this podcast. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Moira. Thank you so much for being here. So blessed to have you in my life. And is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off on this episode and then record another episode?
Thank you so much for having me today. It's been an absolute privilege and honour to be here, and I'm extremely thankful to have you in my life. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. So please do not go and follow Moira, because just leave her alone. She's amazing. She just needs to conserve her energy. But if you'd like to follow somebody, you can follow the 111 approach at the 111 approach. I'll leave all show notes below, and Yeah, that's it really. Next episode, please. Sending you all love, light and blessings.